Hello, Russell.
How you doing, Bobby? All right, mate?
I'm doing very well. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm just clicking on now. How are you doing? You all right?
Doing good, thanks, mate. Doing good.
I just wondered, how are you doing? You all right?
I'm doing very well.
That's good. Uh, this Ben Shalom versus Eddie Hills thing, it's starting to bother me. I've had to come out of retirement, out of a 5-day retirement to say my bit. Uh, Listen, Bob, this is how I look at it, right? Eddie Hills, and Ben Shalom. There's no fake beef. Crusher Ben and Junior Eubank. There's no fake beef. It's all knackers. They've got to sell the fight, right?
Mhm.
Now, do you remember back in the day where they had Joe Gallagher and Shane McGuigan going at it over Frampton Quig because they were
Of
so
course.
respectful, weren't they, Frampton Quig? Right.
Yes.
We've got the same sort of scenario here, and it's a tired old formula, isn't it? Do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, on the one hand, you've got the Rolex roadman, or as I like to think of him, the Mercedes Mauler, Eddie Hearn, who's, he's he he's a bullying type of rich kid who never really laughs with people, but prefer to laugh at people. And you can see this in his
Correct.
interactions with the children who are living on their knees surrounding him at events. He always likes to make fun of people. And now, of course, he's been making fun of Ben Shalom, who's almost young enough to be his son. And Ben Shalom's giving a little bit back, and Eddie's getting his sort of, panties all knotted about it. But it's all pantomime drama to sell a fight. I mean, the only person I'm actually sort of liking, if you in this entire thing, is Chris Eubank, who's putting Eddie in his place. But it's all fake. It's like watching the wrestling show on TV, where you've got Hulk Hogan and somebody else. Somebody is like he is the good guy and he is the bad guy. It's not serious, right? I mean, I don't think any serious boxing fan will believe this as anything other than a brilliant marketing job to sell a fight. What do you think?
Well, I look at it like this, right? They're going to struggle to sell that arena out for 60,000 tickets, so they've got to create some fake beef. They've tried with the old egg slap, and I don't think it's worked because I've been looking on what tickets are for sale. They're charging £992 for third tier tickets. I
Yes.
think that's about right. It's about Frotch Groves, right? But it's not the same fucking fight that you're going to sell. I look at that and I think they're going to struggle with that. And then I look at the whole concept around it, and I think they've got it all wrong. So I see the fight being cancelled, but let's let them run with it. I don't know. What do you think, Bob?
Well, I was really, really surprised at the prices they were charging. I mean, ringside seats, it worked out to be in Canadian dollars, $4,000. I mean, they were over £2,000. And I just thought that was preposterous. In fact, I did a short video about it because, it's been so long since I was in the UK. I'm way out of touch with what people earn and how much things cost.
Yeah.
But it just struck me as that would be expensive for a world title fight. And for these two guys, this is a catch weight, um, not a title fight. Neither of them are really, in my mind, world class athletes. They're trading off their dad's name. I thought it was preposterously expensive. And I just couldn't get my head around how they could be charging so much. And then I thought, they're never going to be able to sell out that stadium unless there's lots and lots and lots of rich people, which there may be, and that they need to make this sort of fake war kind of thing, not just between Eubank and Ben, and now Eubank and Hearn, but now getting Hearn and Shalom, who, I mean, there was something, I think you sent it to me. Ben Shalom was saying that he would be prepared to fight Hearn at a Misfits match. And I'm just shaking my head like, really? I mean, for heaven's sake, it's preposterous.
Where are we at in boxing where they've had Eubank's opponent's dad, Nigel Benn, going at it, but he's not got Chris Eubank Sr. going at it with him. We've got the dad who's grabbing hold of the fighter, but Eubank Sr., it looks to me like he's the only one with any morals out this. And then we've got Eddie Hills, and Ben Shalom, who's desperado to stay on at Sky. He's dancing to Eddie Hills' tune. In my opinion, they've been exposed as wrong uns because they're trying to sell us this fight that's not for a world title, £12 weight thing, the day after.
Rehydration thing, yeah.
Rehydration thing. That's a load of old pone, and there's no title on the line, right? So what the fuck is this? What is this? I don't know. Well, what do you think, Bob?
I'm sorry to be laughing so hard, but I mean, I can't get my mind past the concept of Ben Shalom and Eddie Hearn fighting. I mean, it would be like two old women fighting in the Tesco's parking lot. Surely, I mean, like neither of them. I know that Eddie Hearn has claimed to be a amateur boxer of some renown, which mysteriously was never filmed, even though his father owned a production company throughout the entirety of the child's life. But I mean, Ben Shalom looks like he could barely handle an overcooked piece of toast, let alone a fight. I mean, like really, I'm an old man, and I'm thinking that, I could take Ben Shalom and give him a good shellacking, and I'm old enough to be his granddad almost.
I'd do him with my cock. I'd slay him with my knob. I'd say, "Come here, slap him about, mate." He is an absolute tool of a man. And Eddie Hills? What is he? He's an absolute weapon.
I saw a video of him. It may have been yesterday. He had just been at some running event, and he was bragging about his 5K, and then he was talking about old-time fighters, as though he was sort of making a correlation between his training and the training that people like Rocky Marciano did. And I must confess, I had to stop watching it because it just was such complete and utter rubbish.
Painful.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but the thing that I have noticed is that Eddie Hearn, he really doesn't like anybody talking back to him. And so I am deriving some pleasure out of the fact that, he is being spoken impolitely to at these press conferences, because I would imagine that nobody ever does. I mean, he's rich, he's a CEO of a company and blah, 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 blah. But anyways, he's the Dunhill destroyer. He's a he can't be taken seriously, Russ. He can't, really.
I can't take him serious, and I can't take Ben Shalom serious, or Chris Eubank, or Crusher Ben, or Nigel Ben. As far as I'm concerned, all the lot of them are in cahoots, and they're trying to sell a load of old pony macaroni of a fight to us with a rehydration clause for a belt that don't fucking exist. That's how I look at it.
It's like, it's like sometimes you see people trying to create teams, like they try and create a fake sort of issue in politics or society or sport, to try and get the masses sort of siding with, one person or the other. And it really sort of seems like that they're trying to get 60,000 people into the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm Team Eubank and you're Team Ben, and to try and recreate something that existed between the fathers, but it so clearly doesn't exist between the children. And it's but for their last names, this would be on the undercard. Well, it wouldn't actually exist because there's a weight difference. Weight classes in boxing exist for a reason, but they're both sort of middleweight-ish. But it would be on the undercard of a fight, and it would be, Chris Smith and Connor Brown. Like, it would be one of those fights that you wouldn't pay it any attention. They neither have really got a reputation worthy of defending. In my opinion, I understand that they do have their fans, and God bless them.
Listen, mate, as far as I'm concerned, right, Eubank had a British title 9 years ago, vacant, by the way. The other one's not won a belt out of area, English, British, Commonwealth, European or world. Not won a belt. The other one, area, English, British, vacant, European or world, no. So they've got a vacant British. They've got a vacant British title between them, the pair of them. Yeah. Giving them £6.5 million on the upside. So what they're gonna do now to generate that upside is create as much knackers as they can. So they're gonna get Ben Shalom, Sky Sports, Eddie Hills, the 7-0 Iceman from Billericay, 5 by way of. They're gonna get him on the mission, and they're gonna give it the old big licks. To try and sell it, it's a load of old bollocks, right? Well, bollocks, mate. And I'm fucking just about, what the fuck am I doing here with? Why am I messing about with this when I could be doing other things? These people are shithouses, Bob. Absolute shithouses.
It's rinsing the fans. I mean, the prices that people are being asked to pay. It's not going to say what it does on the tin, right? Like it's professing to be something that it's not. But let me ask you a question, Russ. Do you think in your wildest dreams that Eddie Hearn has ever fought anybody in a boxing ring and had a 7-0 reputation?
Nobody whatsoever. If he did, his dad, Bazza Epstein, would have had it on tape.
That's what I'm thinking.
He's had it on tape. He's had a production company since 1980. So yes. Eddie fooling around in 1990 plus. I mean, Eddie were born in what? How old is Eddie? 46. Eddie
45, 46 this year.
Yeah. Oh my God! They would have had it on tape, DVD. It's a load of old knackers.
Yeah, so
knackaroonies. And best thing about it is, people like Crusher Ben and his dad, Big Nige, a big fucking stupid idiot who's skint, and all the rest of them. They will know this. The only one talking any sense out this is Chris Eubank Jr.'s old man, English. Because he's on the outside looking in. But let me tell you this, back in the day, he were one of them that stayed silent. It's a load of old shit.
Yeah, I mean Eddie Hearn having been an amateur boxer makes no sense to me. I mean, I've got videos of my daughter playing soccer in the 1990s. If Eddie Hearn was boxing, there would be people that you would know, or people that who know people. It would be a known thing within the UK boxing community, and it would be documented. It would be on tape. Yeah. So why does he continue to profess this easily disprovable thing? It's got shades of Big John Fury about it. It's a delusional kind of thing, isn't it?
But John Fury, 100-0 on the hard road, 100 by way of, and then one of them 100 was an £100,000 bare knuckler with the Irish champion at the time, which was James Quinn or Dan Rooney. Pair of them said, "We've never fought John Fury." Pop, pop, bang. There you go.
Well,
But if you want to go deep, if you want to go even deeper, look, these people, they can't lie straight in bed. They can't lie straight in bed, mate. Absolute waffling cunts.
well, there's so many inconsistencies in their stories. I must say that I found the John Fury thing incredibly amusing when he couldn't remember who he won the £100,000
Oh, me,
from.
I can't remember the man's name. Listen, mate.
I mean,
If I
you
fought
know,
somebody for a tenner, I'd remember his name, remind 100 bags.
for sure, absolutely. I mean, £100,000, especially at the time that he won it, allegedly, would
It's
have been an
literally, it's
astronomical.
like 230,000 now, isn't it?
Yeah, of course you'd remember. I mean, it's preposterous to think otherwise. But I mean, I mean, I can only assume, and this is pure assumption, and I'm laughing as I'm saying it, that these folks must be surrounded by people who are so sycophantic, so sort of polishing their shoes
Yeah.
that they're never corrected. It's like, I don't know, sometimes you see at Remembrance Day parades some duffer wearing a Victoria Cross or, I don't know, some sort of stolen honor type thing or stolen valor.
Stolen
And
Valor,
everybody,
it's called. Julie,
and,
who used to go on my channel, says, Russ, it's called Stolen Valor.
yeah. And everybody knows it is, like, somebody's wearing a First World War medal and they're 35 years old. It's like, well, okay. Honestly, I mean, this whole thing with Shalom and Hearn and Eubank Jr. and Ben, it is very similar to a kind of like a Jake Paul misfits type fight.
That's where
I
we're
mean, I
heading now
know,
with boxing, and these people are changing the narrative. They're changing the narratives, and you know what? People can't see it. Before you know where you are, you're going to get Vince McMahon type scripts from these
yeah.
pieces of shit. Pieces of
Well,
shit, killing the sport we love.
well, that's it. I mean, the sport of Greco-Roman wrestling, nobody ever watches that. It's a legitimate sport, right? And you get people who were, legitimate Olympic level wrestlers like Kurt Angle
Yeah.
moving into this WWE sports entertainment because it's not a real sport anymore. But that's the one that people go and watch. I don't know if you've ever watched the wrestling on TV. They can fill out massive stadiums with people who are buying the merchandise and following the narrative and, that sort of stuff. But you have a proper, legitimate amateur Greco-Roman wrestling tournament. You can't fill a high school basketball arena with them, with fans. And I fear that that could happen with boxing, that real legitimate boxers are sort of subsumed by this misfits type, fictitious fighting that's purely a vehicle to entertain people and to make money. I think your guest, Anthony, really put it well when he sort of was talking about that stuff.
Listen, mate, Anthony's sharp as a tack, but I look at it like this. If you speak out in this sport, people behind the scenes, if you don't go to their narrative, they shut you down. I were maybe responsible for Dennis Hobson Promotions or Fight Academy having a bit of a bad run for quite a few years because I were like, no, 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 that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. And I didn't go in the narrative because I were like, no, that ain't right with what we says in the Green Book. But looking at it in hindsight, maybe I should have gone with what Dennis wanted if you were looking at earning money. But I were looking at what's morally fucking right. Who am I, the last person to say that? An ex-junkie, an ex-drug dealer, an ex-criminal. I'm the last person to go on about what's right and wrong. But I came into this sport I was thinking, well, I need to get a proper job. and looking at it from outside, there's no fucking morals. It's worse than what was the old saying? There's an old saying that we have in prison. I forgot what it is, but you can trust more people in prison than you can in this sport. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I forgot what the saying is, but this is how I look at it. People in boxing industry, they'll stick a knife in you as look at you. Whereas people in the box in normal life won't do that to you. I forgot what the saying is. So I've had a few beers at the moment, but disgusting, mate. It's a disgusting, horrible sport. And somebody's just sent me something. Max has just sent me something. Big Malk. Big Malk's piped up. Big
Oh
Malk.
God.
Big Malk's piped up with gigantic bins. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find Big Malk. Are you ready for Big Malk? Are you ready?
Yes.
Black and white history of boxing was black history. Famously, when Jack Johnson became the world heavyweight champion in like, let's imagine just
2 minutes.
Tommy Burns. They didn't want that to go around the world that a black man was victorious over a European. That's why boxing's engraved inside the me, my friend.
Spencer, the Spirit, Fearon.
Oh God.
Growing up as a kid, I hated Frank Bruno. I remember doing the HP advert, and he played Man Friday. When I was seeing those kind of things, those are stereotypical and they're demeaning, they're damaging. But I've got a lot of love and respect for Frank Bruno now because I've seen the trial and tribulation that he's gone through. At the time in the UK, people just enjoyed hating because you like. Yeah, I remember when friends went to like this. It's a mother's game. I've seen Hamid. It's the greatest. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah. There is no God but God, and Muhammad is his last and final message. Bro, Nassim Hamid was a G. He was so cool. Racism still exists. Racism is concealed now because people are so frightened to say anything now of the fact of being deemed or being seen racist.
Like you prick.
Just under a decade, right? And when I would go and address these things on diversity issue, I was a one man speaking. All the other black brothers in there, they were all cowards. You gotta hold it down, you know? You gotta hold it down because these things need to be addressed.
Oh,
Know him. He is the biggest whopper in boxing. Let me just turn this phone off because I lose my fucking headache because I've got his number here. I'll end up ringing him up. Know him, right? He tried to put so many obstacles in front of me and him having a tear up. He's going to box my head off in a boxing. I will pull his fucking head off in a street fight. Let me just say this to you about him. He is the biggest racist in boxing. Spencer Fearon, you're the biggest racist in boxing, you whopper. Tell everybody about the things that you used to say about Carl Froch, but then tell everybody about what you used to say when you used to bump into Carl Froch at a show. You were practically noshing him off, you whopper.
well,
this is what you've got in boxing. You can't trust anybody, mate.
Well, in fact, it's interesting. I've got a video going out, I think tomorrow, about the great Jack Johnson. This Spencer Fearon fellow, he seems to be what you would call in North America a race baiter.
Exactly. That's what he is.
He tries to make everything either about the color of a person's skin or about their religious affiliations. I notice now, because Islam is ever increasingly popular, and of course Islam has a much bigger role in boxing than it did at previous years. that he is much more apparently devout in his faith than he has ever been previously. And good for him if he's genuinely devout. Take my hat off to him. But it seems to me that he's very conveniently associating himself with a number of causes to stir up issues and create polarization, like we were talking earlier on. You're either blue team or red team, and we see this in politics. We see this in other aspects of our lives as well. It's all designed to make people angry at somebody else and to sell a story, right? So I know nothing really about the man. What I've seen of him on YouTube and other media outlets, I can't say as I'm desperately keen to make his acquaintance.
There you go, Bob.
That's my view. That's my view from living remote and in the hills. I don't expect him to come and visit me. But he ain't
got two pence to fucking rub together, mate. He won't be able to get a plane ticket to Canada unless MTK or Turkey a la Sheikh paid him. He won't be able to he won't be able to afford the tube out of London to Stanmore. I can assure you, mate.
Well, he could possibly afford to buy a different pair of glasses, because the glasses he wears are they're clearly inherited from somebody.
Yeah, listen, mate, them glasses he wears are what he blags. Mate, he's a blagger. Isn't that right, big mouth, you giant bins? Listen, mouth, these are proper bins, mouth. Oakley's, 240 quid a pop.
Wow.
Pouncing them like you off at social, you dosser.
I'm afraid to say that I got mine from a dollar store. They were $1.25. They're reading glasses, plastic, made in China, but they seem to work. But
no problem, Bob. Well, listen, it's Saturday afternoon or Saturday 10 to 6. I'm under cosh here, Bob, as you know. I thought I'd squeeze one out, but listen, I'm going to speak to you in the week, and I hope you and your family are well.
Lovely talking to you. I'll get on with my day. It's 10 minutes to 10 in the morning here, so I got the full day ahead of me. You have a great day and a great weekend. Thanks, Ross. Appreciate it as always.
Bye.
Bye, Ross. Cheers, man.
Well, that was Bob from Canada. Women love him, men want to be him. If you want to join his channel or subscribe, it's Canada's Boxing Channel. And don't forget to subscribe to Andy's Cabin YouTube. All right? One piece out.